handle the truth.
I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hey, listen, I know I always make fun of the government because they say they know what the date is, and I always like, hey, they're making it up and all that. But guys, listen, the government's here to help. They always have the very best of intentions. That you look at. I mean, Pearl Harbor, 9/11, JFK. I mean, these are all things where you can see where your government was really right there for you the whole time, right? You just saw the Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, the whole idea that we're going to go back to Iran. We haven't done Iran since the 70s, guys. That's when I was a kid. Yeah, cool stuff. The Ayatollah. Ooh. Anyway, let's get back to the date here. Oh, we're going to say it's February 27th. It's a Friday, 2026. Well, guys, thank you so much for being a part of the show. Yes, the gunships and the pointy ends of the little things that go bagoo, 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 that's all aimed at Iran, and Israel is going to lead the charge.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Rick, don't tell everybody you're there. Shh, go ahead. So the 7 million people in New York City they're going to take on Iran. They're going to lead the charge. Do you guys know what that means, right? That means that they're not, say the part where you're like, yes, we're going to have to go over there and fight a war for Iran, or Israel. My problem is everybody's like, well, no, we're only going to hit the strategic areas. Well, that's what you always do when you start a war, is you work on the hard targets. You get on the bases. You get on the power plants. You get on yeah, I get that. But my problem is, guys, is that this whole thing is absolutely not necessary. I know that Iran only understands strength. I think a lot of what we could be doing, which is we've done all across the world, is just helping the citizens overthrow their government. Right, Venezuela? Maduro. By the way, we put Maduro into power. And you see what we did with him. Does this sound like a story you may have heard of way a long, long time ago? Way back land, you remember that there was a war where a guy was named Saddam, something like that. He had WMDs, man. Well, you know what I heard on the radio yesterday? There's WMDs. You know who said that? Mark Levin. You know what Mark Levin says, what nationality he is? Or genetic nationality he is? It does get tiring after a while. You will start seeing it, and you're like, oh, yeah, just stop, people. And everybody's pushing Trump into it. Everybody's pushing Trump into it, including the Iranians, because they really only understand power. And that's the stupid part of it, is that they really know that they're going to get their ass whooped, and we're going to be involved in it, and blah, 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 blah. But they also know that they don't have a choice except to stand up to us, but because they can't stand up to their people the way that they should, blah, blah. I mean, you know all the stuff. But here's the problem. No one can say, hey, you know what? This is a bad idea. This is a bad look. Okay? Now, there's a lot of things we can do. But I'm going to tell you right now, guys, I have a problem with the narrative that I have been forced into, believing that the Palestinian state that lived up through the 40s and all the way through World War II, and then suddenly someone decided to call Palestinian land, Israel. And that was Eisenhower. He was from here in Kansas. He actually was a general and then became a president. I'm sorry for that. He's also the one that had disclosure on the weird people that live on our planet called aliens. But anyway, going back to this is that I am telling you right now that I do think that Jesus was more Persian than he was anything. Because if you remember, he was Galilean, but at the same time, his father wasn't. Right? Not his heavenly father, but his earthly father. And we're talking about where he came from. But the problem is a lot of this doesn't make a lot of sense, because I honestly believe that if you kind of look to the east a little bit, you're going to find a lot more answers that make a lot more sense. But anyway, that's my take on it, going from a political bent all the way into the spiritual and getting everybody turned off to the idea that I know what I'm talking about. Brenda, good to see you. Cordy Allen's here. Duh, Sabrina Edwards killing it as well. Thank you so much. And let's see if, hey, Rick is still here. He did not leave. So anyway, I do have a special guest with me today. Even though I was talking shit on Israel, he's gonna stick it out with me here. I guess he's a brave soul. I gotta get you tuned up here. You did such a good job. I gotta get the screen a little bit better here. There we go. All right, there we go, Rick. Good to see you, man. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. How have you been, sir? There we go. Now we're sitting next to each other. Uh-oh, I lost you. Hold on, Rick. Hold on, Rick. This is what happened last time. Remember I told you there'll be a thing? Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, I got you now. Did you turn your own microphone off?
Well, I had some noise in the hallway, so I muted it.
You had me
But
in the
you
panic.
hadn't asked me a question yet.
You had me in the panic mode. I thought your mic had got shut off because of Zoom or whatever. Remember I told you earlier that Zoom updated and it's going to screw something up. And it's usually right when I transition. It's a whole thing. Well, that's not when I get my ding-dong cut off. I'm not that kind of transition. It's more of when we go from one scene to the other. Anyway, Rick Hill, good to see you, buddy. It is Rick Hill, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I called yesterday's show Aunt Hill because Aunt Hillary was testifying that she had no idea who Mr. Jeffy is, and even though there's like 20 million photos of her in the Jeffy files that says that she was standing within 3 feet of the dude. I don't know. Anyway, and her husband only went to the island 50-some times. Where are you going, Bill? Oh, nowhere. I'm just gonna go fishing. Yeah, anyway. All right. Anyway, Mr. Rick Hill, good to see you, man. We are brother from another mother. He's definitely a lot younger than I am, even though he has grayer hair. I'm sorry for the affliction, buddy. Rick, you are a man with a story, a man with a book, and a man with a product. I don't know if you got a man. We got a man with a mission here. Rick, thank you so much for being here. Are you here? You are here representing yourself?
rncstore.com.
There we go. That's what we're walking at. That's it. rncstore.com. That's actually right here, which sits on my set always. We got the apricot seeds right here. I've had these right here. I don't get to eat them though because
look like those.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't. It's a sealed pack. We're saving it for Armageddon anyway. Anyway, so rncstore.com, promo code price, get your discount. Rick, we have talked a lot about health and wellness and different things like that, and you went through a battle with your own health as well. You've heard kind of my story. My folks here have heard my story. You've heard parts of it. You heard about the fractures. We were talking about that just before we went live on air. But your story was a little bit longer and a little bit more. I wasn't in ICU for 6 days, so maybe I was in a bad way. But you went through some stuff. You went all the way. You kind of got sick there for a while. Can you want to tell us about that? And
I'll give you the cliff notes here because I think your audience heard me one other time. But the year was 1974.
Whew. Oh, we just went off the silver standard into the petroleum dollar.
Holy cow! That means that I've been. That was 51 years ago, and I'm 75 years old.
Are you really
now.
75? You're not 75. Are you really?
Yes, I am.
God damn.
1950, I was born. Do the math. So I was, all of a sudden, I had a bow tied on my life. I'd finished seminary. I was a parochial school principal. My wife was expecting our first child.
Wow.
Everything that I thought I had planned for and worked for began to collapse.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens to all kinds of people. I was going to say the best of us, but I didn't qualify for that in high school.
Right.
I was always the most improved athlete and scholar with lots of room to go.
Right.
But I made people laugh, and so people kept me around, and that was fine with me to live that way. But I found out at the Mayo Clinic that I had stage 3 high grade. Yeah, that's like stage 4 embryonal cell carcinoma.
Wait. Small. Wait. It was what kind of cell?
Embryonal cell. So it was a germ cell.
So it was actually from the womb? Embryotic?
Yeah, actually, I was probably sick from the day I was born. Who knew?
No, you probably had a twin.
I hope not.
No,
I
no.
wouldn't wish that on anybody.
No. What happens is a lot of times twins will not always separate, and then then it's very, very common that the one egg will consume the other, and that it won't create a true split. There's people who have extra teeth in their mouth, a mouth on the side. There's things like that, but there is a study. I'm sorry, Rick. I don't mean to jump on this. This is what I do, right? This is what Jim Price does. Sorry, but yeah, part of that is that you could have been a twin.
Perhaps.
That's why
Uh,
those cells weren't working for you because they're actually foreign to you. No different than that. What's that? When the cannibalism disease you get from eating humans, Ruku
hmm,
or whatever it is, or Kuru.
I don't know, mad cow, that thing.
Well, that too. No, but yeah. So anyway, so Kuru or something like that. CKURU or something. Anyway, so yeah. So you had embryonic cells that were cancerous, were abnormal cells. They were taking over. Now, was this a blood thing or is this in an organ?
Oh no, this started out in the groin, so I didn't do a lot of horseback riding.
Mm,
But it being embryonic cell carcinoma, it was when it hits the lymphatic system, it's like a super highway and it goes fast. In other words, they operated right here on my neck. There's a scar if you look really close, and they found cancer there. And then they operated on my feet, and they found cancer on my feet. So they closed me up and said, "This boy is done. Stick a fork in it. We'll tell him when he wakes up in a couple of days." They had me on morphine. I was down to 120 pounds.
jeez.
And they said, "Invite your family in. It's time for you to say goodbye."
Wow,
Mayo Clinic. And they said, today's Friday. We're going to start chemo on Monday, but you are really you're approaching the line.
right.
And so I went home and I thought, well, that's not how I plan my life. But Jim, every play that you've ever seen, or even a well-written movie,
Hmm.
has what's called an inciting incident. Yeah.
Right. Right. The
Camera
flashpoint.
opens, woman
Flashpoint.
standing on a balcony in a big hotel leaps. Or was she pushed?
Hmm?
We don't know.
Yeah. She may have
But
been running her mouth. She may have deserved it. I mean, I'm sorry.
I mean, that is an inciting incident. The whole rest of the movie revolves around that one
Right.
2 second scene.
Right.
So I go home after the Mayo Clinic said to me, "It's over for you," basically. And I had a letter, and my wife handed it to me. I opened it up. The letter said this, and I'm quoting this: "If you want to live, you've got to leave the Mayo Clinic."
No way.
That's exactly what it said. And it was signed by a guy I knew. He was a Baptist pastor named John Ballantyne. I had his phone number. So I called him. I said, "John, whatever you're smoking, I want some
Yeah.
because I'm in a lot of pain and you seem like you're in a lot of pain to say something like that. What is the matter with you?"
Right.
He said, "Rick, I've had people in my parish, in my congregation,
Hmm.
get terminal cancer, went to Mexico,
Mexico.
came back
Bye.
well.
Right.
So, do you want to hear about this or no?" And
Yes.
I said, "Well,
Oh,
yeah, but what city in Mexico?" He said, "Well, Tijuana." I'm thinking,
TJ.
yeah, I'm going to go
Woo.
to my people and say,
I'm going to TJ. I'm out of
"I'm
here.
going to TJ, leaving the Mayo Clinic." So we argued about it and everything. I said, "What are they going to do to me down there?" And he said, "Are you sitting down?"
Right.
Nothing good comes after that question. I said,
Absolutely.
"Yeah, John, I'm sitting down." It's John Ballantyne, not John Richardson.
Right.
And I said, "Yeah, I'm sitting down." And he says, "Well, it's an extract from the apricot fruit."
Hmm.
And I said, "What do you mean? I eat apricots all the time." He said, "Well, you're doing it wrong."
Yeah.
I said, "Okay, I'll hold it in the left hand." What John? Apricot doesn't cure cancer or anything that I know of.
Right.
Yeah, well, they take an extract from the apricot, make it into an oil, and then they inject it into your bloodstream.
Yeah.
So it isn't that I'm leaving the Mayo Clinic. It's not that I'm going to TJ. but I'm going to get apricot shoved in my veins when I get there. Do I have this right so far?
Well, and I've heard the stories out of Tijuana, and they ain't good, boy. So
Yeah.
that's
And
crazy.
I wasn't going for chiclets. Yeah,
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I said, look, John, I'm not going to fight with you. I've got an appointment this afternoon with the Mayo Clinic.
Right.
I'm going to see the chemotherapist. I'm going to tell him what you said.
Right.
And the last thing he said to me was, good luck with that, pal.
Ah,
I show up, told the story. I thought I would learn new swear words, Jim.
right.
I didn't. This guy sits back in his chair, steeples his fingers like so, and he says, you know, Rick, it is warm in Tijuana this time of year. And I went,
Huh.
okay, message delivered. Thank you for your honesty. And I got up, I went to the door, turned around, and I said, I probably will never see you again, Doc. And he smiled at me.
Yeah.
And I left. When I told my wife what he said, she said, what?
He probably saved your life, honestly. I mean, honestly.
Exactly.
I mean, that man
100%.
knew exactly what you were going to do. And that was back when, that was back in the day in the 70s where they were still smoking a cigarette while they were looking at your blood pressure. So
Yeah.
things were a little different back then.
When I came out of surgery, exploratory surgery, 8.5 hours, because there
Right.
were no scans.
Right.
They gave me white bread, Jello, and 7-Up.
There you go. Well, that's back when 7-Up was actually 7-Up. It wasn't what we have today. I mean, have you ever tasted some of the original, like how it's originally made? You can see why they became popular. I mean, it's amazing.
Like Verner's ginger ale. Dr. Verner's invented that, and we got it when we got the flu.
Yeah. Well, because it's quinine. It's quinine.
Yeah.
HCQ.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good stuff. Anyway, go ahead.
I come home,
Yeah.
told my family now what the letter said, what the doctor said.
Right.
And my older brother, Sam Hill, if you're old enough to remember that,
Oh, wow.
he said to me, Ricky, we always knew you were stupid.
Well.
We just didn't know how bad it was.
I mean, you went and proved it, didn't you?
So we go around the table and all my family jumps all over me, but we get to my father-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
He stands up, seed corn hat, straw sticking out of his mouth. He's a contractor type guy.
Right.
He says, I like it. I'll take him down there and I'll help pay for it. I said, deal.
Wow. That's generous. Thank you for that.
And
That's
2 days later, I'm in TJ.
Jeez.
And I went down the rabbit hole.
Ugh.
I grew up in Detroit. Look.
Oh,
this is
you hadn't
me.
even really seen the country. Oh, look at you.
I got my Fonzie hairdo. I got the leather jacket. I got the 57 Ford with a Hearst floor shift.
Ugh.
Handling life. Huh?
Yeah. No, I get it. You know, you were living
I grew up on cornbread, beans, and fried pork.
Yep.
My mother was from Alabama. So,
God, I do love some cornbread. I miss real cornbread. I really
I make it with buttermilk. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, here's the thing. I would like a square pan. I had to say it that way, I guess. I started talking about cornbread. I love a good 8x8 square pan of cornbread, but I want a jalapeno one and a plain one. Because sometimes I just want a little jalapeno, and then sometimes I just want a little regular. You know, I don't want to be all one or the other, but I'd like to have that option in there. You do it with have had the fine diced jalapenos in your cornbread?
Nah, I was a purist. I did the buttermilk cornbread with white cornmeal, little bacon grease in there.
Yeah.
Not organic bacon.
No.
You know, and I pretty much stuck with, you know, where you heat the pan so when it hits the lard, it fries the crust solid.
There you go.
And that's what I grew up on. And
you know what,
so
though? That's very few people know how to do that, man.
I can do it. I know how to make it. So you can
You want to
imagine
get
when
married? I'll marry you. I'll marry you, buddy.
What?
If you know how to make cornbread cakes like that, I'll marry you in a minute. I'm pretty
in a
easy
pot
like
of
that.
beans
Yeah. Oh, with ham
or
in it.
black-eyed peas. Yeah, I know.
Got a ham hock in there with the just, and then you get the beans on the stove. So where we used to, me and Charlie, my guardian dad, we would go out in the woods, the shop, and we'd had a stove out there and the cast iron pot, and then we'd sit there and cook beans all day, right?
Yep. You got to cook them all day.
But when we be eating them all day though too. Up, no, they'll be about another hour or two.
Yep.
Just dumb as
Yep. I mean,
eating
we,
beans like
we
that.
didn't blanch our beans. We had to cook them for a half a day.
Oh yeah, it was. You
Otherwise, you
start in
don't
the
have beans.
morning,
You
and
got lumps.
it was for dinner. It was you start in the morning, you wait for dinner. But we'd take a cornbread and we'd make pancakes out of them. But we'd put jalapeno in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry about that. I didn't mean to ruin your story of success. So
Yeah.
you're down seeing all the lovely ladies of Tijuana in the early '70s, getting your cancer treatments. Hey, come on, we all know what TJ's about. Come on.
I grew up in Detroit. It wasn't Disneyland, but it wasn't like that.
It wasn't Tijuana.
No. And the first place we went was a health food store. I walk in there in my leathers and everything, and everybody looks at me like, and I got people in there, they were taking things out of barrels and smelling it and going, oh, wow, I can feel it. And I'm thinking, oh, get me out of here. I don't feel a thing. And I'm the only one in the store wearing underwear. I mean, this is stone ground heaven I'm in now.
I'm the only one wearing underwear is what you said.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I want your viewers to know that if they don't blend,
yeah, I know.
it doesn't matter.
I get it.
I don't blend. I didn't try and blend.
Right.
But I was dying.
Yeah.
And so Dr. Contreras said to me, this is participatory medicine.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to make it, you got to help me. And I said, what do you want me to do? He said, whatever we ask. Well, the trip to the health food store didn't help. And I said, I don't want to die, Doc. Everyone asked me, why don't you want to see Jesus? I said, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I had to swim really fast to be the guy that got to the egg first.
There you go.
And I'm not going to throw that away willy-nilly on some kind of disease that I might be able to turn around. So, yeah, whatever you ask me to do, I'll do my best. Little did I know that the next day I would go in and they would give me a shot, a 3-gram vial, looks like this.
Right.
Of Laetrile. That's vitamin B17 made from apricots.
Now, wait, intravenous or in the muscle?
Right here. Right here. Just like a guy under the bridge.
In the vein, huh? Ooh.
In the vein. And some days, 2 of them. So that's 6 grams in one day. And Teddy Kennedy said that's enough to kill every grown man. And then I testified at one of his
Teddy Kennedy doesn't know his hole from an ass in the ground.
Well, he didn't that day.
See how I did that? Yeah, I turned that around on him. Anyway, sorry.
I took a whole bunch of B17 at the Senate Investigation Committee, threw it in my mouth, drank the water, and said, now, you think I'm going to have white foam right here in about 5 minutes? Right. Keep one eye on me. I'm not going anywhere. And they thought that was a cheap trick, but it got their attention.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
So I get the shot, and then the woman, I couldn't help but notice, and they gave me enzymes, pancreatic, chymotrypsin, and trypsin enzyme. RNC has them in pill form.
Right.
They look like that.
I love that. I love that pro enzyme. It's the 3-pack, right? There's the enzyme, what's the 3?
And the B15.
Yeah.
And then she's holding a bag with a hose. And she says, being real chirpy, today we are going to start your detox. And I said, great. What's a detox? And she says, well, have you ever changed the water in the radiator of your car?
There you go.
And I said, I have.
We're going to change your radiator.
I said, well, you unscrew both ends and you put the garden hose in.
Yeah, we're going to unscrew both of your ends.
I said to her, where does the hose go? And I wish she hadn't answered that question.
It's up to you, buddy.
For your viewers that don't know what a colonic is, think about water skiing really fast. Then I just want you to sit down. Yeah. That's what a colonic is.
It is. It's everything.
You get half the lake there. So,
Well, let me
I,
give you one thing on a colonic, though. They do have huge research on coffee enemas and how it unseals the bile ducts in the liver, and it actually is. They're showing huge advances in people that are fearful of different digestive things, as well as upper digestive cancers or things like that. But coffee enemas are very good for the liver and all different parts of your bile ducts and stuff like that. Anyway, go ahead.
oh, they gave me plenty of those without cream and sugar. I mean,
They didn't call you in the morning.
yeah, it was. So you can imagine me, a
Right.
Detroit greaser,
Right.
down there with those folks, and yet I gotta admit, by the second week, I was off morphine. My colors started coming back, and I actually woke up in the morning feeling partly human again.
Yeah.
And I thought, what's going on? What are they doing to me that could possibly be working? Apricots and water and all this, and
Right.
they put me on an organic diet, said, no more sugar for you, pal.
Hmm.
No more. And well, how much, Sanders chocolate is in Detroit. Anybody that hasn't had a Sanders Sunday is not a real person. I grew up on that stuff.
Right.
So this was a big switch. But the good news for your viewers is that that was 51 years ago.
Mm.
I've never had a relapse. I've never taken any chemo, and I've never taken radiation.
Wow.
So I went back to the Mayo Clinic when I got home. You should have been with me in my pocket because I met with my surgeon. When I came through the door, he went like that. I
Right.
didn't look like I looked when I left there.
Yeah.
And he said, before we start talking, Rick, I want you to know that what you did in Tijuana could not have had anything to do
Oh well.
with this apparent recovery you've had. And I said,
Oh.
Doc, you look like a bright guy,
Uh,
but looks can be deceiving.
so this is the same guy that told you to go do it, or a different
Well,
guy?
no, that was
Different.
the chemotherapist.
Oh, okay. So this was the
Different.
surgeon who did the
This,
exploratory on you.
this was the surgeon.
Okay. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And I said, what do you think happened to me? He said, I think you had a natural remission. I said, what's that? He said, well, we can't explain it, but sometimes cancer just seems to go away on its own. I
You
said,
know, it does.
okay,
You're right.
yeah.
You got me.
Doc, how long was I here at the Mayo Clinic? He said, well, I don't know. I have to look at the records. I said, I'll tell you, 6 weeks.
Right.
It didn't go away when I was here.
Right.
I got sicker and sicker and sicker. So I go down to Tijuana and I get better and better and better during
Right.
my stay there. In fact, in 3 weeks, I came home feeling really good. Now, you tell me, why didn't it naturally remit? Because my belief was in the Mayo Clinic, not in Tijuana.
Yeah. Maggie O'Leary, she's Maggie. She's one of the good followers here at the Jim Price Show. She says I have ductal carcinoma, triple negative, stage 3. So when you talked about ductal carcinoma, I'm wondering where that's at, and I'm thinking I know, but anyway, she's they're saying that the only way you can get through it is through chemotherapy, is what her doctor's telling her. So
That is what her doctor will tell her. That's what they told me at the Mayo Clinic.
it's the only way they can make money is
You
pumping
know how
shit in your
much?
veins, right?
What the average chemo and radiation, they're billing your insurance company between 500 and 800,000 bucks.
Gee,
All right. I spent at RNC store last month maybe 100 bucks.
right. Oh,
Please.
breast. Okay, so that would be lymphatic. So her breast tissue, it's all in her breast tissue. Okay. And actually, be honest with you, I would have you doing topical Lugol's iodine and DMSO, as well as doing the laterals with the B15 and the enzymes. But then I would tell you honestly, get into a red bed therapy as fast as you can. That's a soft tissue issue, and but it's also a ductal issue, which means it's actually your lymph node glands, because your breast tissue, your armpits, your testicles, ovaries, your vagina, that is all part of your lymphatic system, behind the knees and those kind of things. But I would tell you to get to briskly walking, impactful walking, meaning moving the body, and quit wearing your bra. The bra is probably one of the worst things that women have ever put on their body, not because we want to see them, girls. It's because it traps all the lymphatic fluid up in the breast and the top of the cavity and doesn't allow the armpits to drain down into the chest and down into the legs and allows it to go down through the uterus and through the vagina. And that's why you have the inflammation or the cancers that build up and the ductal issues. So the first thing is take the old strap off and get rid of that, but also do as much brisk walking as possible, impactful walking, getting the body moving. Those are the things that when you're talking about ductal things like that. But the B17, Rick, do you know of any of these clinics that are still operating down in Mexico or other parts of the world that people could access?
Yeah, there's one in Tijuana called Oasis of Hope, where I went.
Right.
And watch this. It's right across the street from the bull ring. Huh? There's a little flavor for you.
Yeah.
It's 2 blocks off the beach. It's safe. It's called Playas, the beach area.
Yeah.
But that's where Dr. Contreras, who is a licensed surgical oncologist,
Right.
works with a whole team of 24-hour nursing and private rooms, and
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's nice. But yeah, that's the same place I went on the same corner
Right.
for 60 years ago. They started it. They're not
Uh,
going anywhere.
Dave said Oasis of Hope. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay, so she says, I'm in Austin, Texas. I saw a video of Oasis of Hope. And Maggie, I will tell you, I know this sounds very weird, but right now in your time like this, I want you to listen to two things. I want you to go to heavy fat and red meat diet because you're going to need to get your proteins up and get your strength up for whatever you're getting ready to go through. I know that you want to stay organic and all the other stuff, but right now, a lot of times what happens is the burn rate of your telomeres, your candle burning, will get intensified because of the stress and things going on in your body right now. So please bring on those extra calories. Do that and make sure and bring that in. But also, if you know anybody does how to do myofascial therapy, myofascial therapy, touch therapy, meaning they go in and help move trauma and other injuries out of the body. You might want to find somebody in that area. It's also to help move things along in the body, but please understand that what we're talking about is stuff that is being done all the time. And what Rick went through, I mean, he acts like it's something they invented in the 70s, but the sad part is, Rick, when it got to you, it had already been going on for decades, right?
Well, Dr. John Beard wrote about it in 1902
Okay, so
in his
that's
World
about
Without
that's about
Cancer book.
7 decades ahead of you, right?
Yeah.
So
And he treated 7 people with stage 4 cancer just with the enzymes,
mhm.
not even B17, chymotrypsin and trypsin. And they got well. And his government came after him
Yep.
because they don't want things they can't patent. They
Yep.
don't want things that aren't expensive. They want to keep it out of circulation.
Yep.
So, yeah, you're right. You're 100% right that crying in a bucket,
Yep.
what they've done to people all these years. Well, remember my story because I sat with you and talked to you about this.
Right.
Here's a letter from the Mayo Clinic because the American Cancer Society used to follow me around.
Right.
And when I would speak places, they would publish in the newspaper a rebuttal about what I had said and said, perhaps he never had cancer in the first place.
Well, that's what it was, you big old loser. Yeah,
I lied about it.
You never had cancer. You were just going off of what doctors were telling you, right? I mean, isn't that good? Like, no, the doctor told me I didn't do that to myself. Like, think about that. I had had exploratory surgery across my entire body so that I could then just say, oh, what?
I made it up. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
How crazy. So I wrote the Mayo Clinic and threatened to sue them. They wrote me back this letter and said, in regard to the question that people have asked whether you actually did have cancer in the first place, you are entirely right that you had stage 3 high grade embryonal cell carcinoma. And when you left the Mayo Clinic, chemotherapy was mandatory. In other words, they didn't make me well and then I left.
right. Well, here's the thing. This is one thing that I think we all need to say in every show that you do and every show that I do, anytime we talk about this, is we always have cancer cells, abnormal cells in our body 24/7, 365. It doesn't matter. That's what your body's always doing, is getting rid of the junk. We talk about C60, using the carbon 60 to bring the electron back on to balance the cell out. That's one way of keeping things from being abnormal. But your body will go in and find those bad cells, create histamine around it, get the body to move it out. But if it can't do the histamine moving, if it can't get those cells go, well, they start clumping up and those kind of things. Things will happen through inflammation, right, Rick? We all talk about. And one of the things I want to point out too is the bitterness in the apricot seed. The bitterness in the apricot seed is the laetrile, is the B17. But think about that. It's not the sweet, because in the sweet of things, that's the acid. That's the bad stuff. That's the not good stuff. But all of a sudden, if you really think about it, what are we talking about? We're talking about bringing in a base, this tart, this bitterness, this that goes in our mouth. But it's because that's actually beneficial. But we have taught ourselves that the sweet is better, but in reality, we should crave that bitter because we know it's really healing the body. And anything in nature, every time we talk about things that are bitter, they're actually better for us. The things that are actually sweeter really aren't. They have the high fructose stuff that we get into, different fruits. You blend a banana, you just put yourself into a stage 3 diabetic effect every time you blend a banana in the blender. But we don't talk about that, right? So these are the things of learning what's good and bad. Sugars are what cause, they're an acid. But that bitterness is that B17, which is the seed, which is the next generation of DNA going to the next apricot tree, but you're ingesting that code into your body, healing your body with what would have been the next generation. That's what we talk about. Seeds and flowers is the only thing you eat. We don't worry about leaves. When I got seeds and flowers to eat, that's where I want to get that nutrients from.
Yeah, lemons are better for you than oranges.
Yeah.
Way better.
Oh, yeah.
Way better.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, go ahead.
I would say that what I took that's available at RNC, we talked about that, is important, but the diet is probably 50% of it.
Yeah.
And it was tough for me, the Detroit greaser kid from mothers from Alabama. I had a lot of changing to do.
Right.
I mean, my older brother said to me, I'd rather be dead than live the way you have to live now. And I said, Raj,
wow,
yeah, that could happen.
Yeah.
You know? And when you get good at making good food.
Yeah.
And I do a little bit of, we're carnivores. I got these teeth right here. My eyes are in front. I've got nails. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't get the stuff full of chemicals, and I don't eat a tomahawk steak when I sit down to do it.
Right.
But I do have meat in my diet. I do have delicious salads, probably with every meal.
Right.
Except maybe breakfast. But people say, I don't know what to eat if I don't eat Cheerios for breakfast, bologna sandwich for lunch, and McDonald's for dinner. I just don't know.
How about skip the first 2 meals that you spent money on, save that money to go ahead and buy yourself a sirloin that may be the cheapest piece of meat that the butcher has, and eat that and skip everything else except for eat that sirloin alone. I mean, you would be better off of skipping all the oats in the morning, the bologna at lunch, and then having that sirloin for dinner with a glass of water. Save that money for that meat than you would be having the McDonald's or any of the other stuff, right?
Yeah, but people, there's arguments. I've had a lot of doctors, not a few of these macrobiotic types, and they just say, no, vegan is the only way to go.
Right.
And I just don't see it anatomically in what we are.
Right.
And I think unless you get poison stuff with antibiotics in it and all kinds of stuff.
Right.
I just think a limited amount, especially when I was in treatment, simply because it took so much to digest it. They wanted those enzymes to go unmask, like Dr. Soon is finally telling people.
Right.
To go unmask those cancer cells so my own immune system can find them.
Right.
And deal with them.
Yeah.
And I do that. I take 4 of those a day on an empty stomach.
Yeah.
And that's been the key. I've got a cop on the beat.
Right.
All the time.
Yeah. I take them as a preventative because I had some lymph node issues with my arms and I was worried about them. They were about golf ball sizes, which is not good for anybody. But I got rid of those, and I've been doing the pro. I guess is that called the Pro Pack or Pro Plan? What's it called?
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
there's a preventative pack, and there's the pro pack is the one that people are trying to reverse something.
yeah,
But
I did the pro pack because I'm just like I'm throwing grenades. You know, I wasn't
yeah,
worried about cherry bombs. I'm like, let's just do it, right? Let's do it like we're trying to win. And I've been on that now for almost 2 years. And
yeah,
so I like taking them because not because here's the thing, guys. It's and like Rick was saying, it's like you B-17 is an oar, but you still got to get in the boat and row and do all your part of this. There's effort that's got to be in there besides that. So anyway, I take these as I think of as like I take them as if I've got something, so I know that I don't have something. Does that make sense?
best time to treat cancer is before you get it.
Yeah, I don't
That's
want
when
to.
it's
I don't want to.
easy.
Yeah, or just don't go to the doctor. He'll never tell you, right? Oh, that's my plan.
And if your listeners know you've set up a discount for them that I
Yes,
don't get, you don't get, but
that's
if at the end of their order, if they put price
yes, sir.
like you,
Yeah, yeah,
um, uh, that they'll save 10% on that order, and that's a generous thing to do. 10% is a lot, and they'll get so much value that
yes.
how do you, I've had doctors, in fact, my MD that I got with my local Medicare thing, he said I got the what's that stuff you mentioned, the roll on for your shoulder?
Oh,
Uh
the icy hot or whatever, or
no, the good stuff.
the hemp stuff, or
Three
CBD.
three letters or four letters. Anyway, I'll think of it. Um I
Oh,
he wanted me to have
DMSO, DMSO.
yeah, DMSO. He
Yeah, I
wanted
love
me
that
to have
stuff.
surgery on my shoulders
Yeah, yeah.
because I wrestled in college.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and he said, "Well, how did that surgery go?" And I said, "Well, I never had it." And he said, "Why not?" I said, "Well, I put some DMSO and some other thing, lotions and stuff, and I did mild exercise, and I'm not 100%, but I'm like 80, and I
Right.
can sleep at night." He said, "So they put that on horses." I said, "Well,
It's
I
really
don't
good.
care.
It's really
It
good stuff.
worked." And he said, "Yeah, and some people think if they eat apricots, they'll get rid of cancer."
Ah, oh, you were 2 for 2, buddy. You're
And I
two for
said, "Doc, I
two.
never told you that story." He said, "What story?" And I said,
Oh.
"I'm the guy that went to Mexico for cancer 51 years ago, and I used apricots." He slammed his book shut and walked out and said, "We're done here."
Really? How
Yeah.
far we have educated ourselves. Boy, we're so elevated in our
You just
oh
wonder, don't you?
yeah.
Don't you just
The
go,
ego. The ego is amazing. Oh, the ego is amazing. I use DMSOdirect.com. I don't have a promo code with them, but DMSO Direct, I use their aloe blend. They have an
yeah,
aloe blend that's 30%, and I use that, DMSO Direct. I highly recommend them. They're super quick on shipping. But guys, if you want to use my promo code PRICE at rncstore.com, rncstore.com, I put it in the chat here. Rick Hill, you're a great story, great laughs today, man. I'm going to get you out of here just a couple minutes early. I'm going to let you get an outro before we leave. But this is always a lot of fun. I hope it was fun for you, or at least you faked it very well. So thank you for being a good first date. Anyway, but this is a lot of fun, but it is a serious topic. And if you guys don't understand that we are doing I only speak from things I honestly have been through. And I've told you, hey, I'm taking the pro plan because I'm taking it like I've got something because I just don't want to have anything.
no, you
I
don't
know
want
my
it.
lymph nodes are. I got this one left down here. It's about the size of a small marble, and then I have one that is still. I lose it. It's actually gotten really small enough I have to find it now. Oh, wait, it's down here now. So I've gotten rid of all those. Those were golf ball sizes down through there. Things that different lymph nodes and stuff. So I've seen the difference, and I've been doing DMSO. I've been doing the Lugol's iodine. You guys know a lot of my protocols if I've talked about it on the show, but I only talk about because of my experience, and I like having Rick on here because he kind of did it when it was really kind of badass. Nobody was really out there doing it, even though it was 70, 80 years old at the time. It was still seems to be very new. But Rick, give us a little bit of your outro on and what it's done for you, what it means for you, and how your daily life now, and then also just give us the website again.
Yeah. What I offer, I think, in my book, which they can get at rncstore.com, of course, is Too Young to Die.
Oh yeah.
This is hope. And I define hope as helping other people escape. Because remember that guy that poked his big nose in my business,
Mhm.
wrote me the little letter that started the chain reaction? That's what we can offer. And if your people want to connect with me, we started a little website called B17works.com. And we've got clinic information in there you can go to. You can communicate with me on that site, but B17works.com.
Hmm.
And that's a good site to go to. So it's been fun to be on here. Thank you, Jim.
Oh
You're
yeah.
always good. You're always fun.
Well, I mean, it's a pretty serious conversation, so I hope that we can at least keep some levity in it and keep people talking about it as opposed to running from it. It's easy to run and hide when it gets real scary, that kind of stuff. So, Rick, I appreciate your humor and your honesty, and keep up on your salts and all that good stuff. I know you're doing the work out there. I hope to see you in person soon, buddy. I do appreciate your company. And
Bill Jansky, are you headed for there?
no, I did not. When is that one?
Okay.
Yeah, I
Well,
don't know.
I won't see you at that one.
Okay. If I don't know about it, I don't know about it. Yeah. So anyway, Rick, thank you for being you. And, sir, we will get you out of here, and we'll have you back on whenever you want. You let me know.
Very good. Thank you, Jim.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you later. Bye. All right, guys. What a great interview that was with Rick. Again, this is... this is the thing where I really like the people I've met on this journey and the people I have met through the years. And Rick is one of them. I mean, just inadvertently, I had no reason to know Rick from Adam, but I met him through RNC, and I always consider the people there at RNC a friend, and they've always been very, very hospitable to me anytime I'm in the Valley of Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, and I go out there. They're great. Rick is always very hospitable. Exactly how you see him is exactly how he is in person. Really neat guy. And yes, his story's authentic. He's had a lot to deal with. And he was doing some things that were a little more courageous than most people were doing back then, which, again, it seems like it's still courageous today. A lot of that we're looking at. It's like, oh, wow, this is a kind of a big deal here. But it's not. It's 130 years old, 140 years old. I was there when they were going through these shipping containers full of books and data and studies and all this stuff. All this stuff that they were going through, because if people were like hoarding it and hiding it away and putting it into these things, and so they had to go back through it. But it's amazing how much was already known, and we're talking about stuff that's in this brown gray paper, these old books of things. And there's a couple of things I even think I have around here that were multiple copies of. Oh, it is right here. This is one right here. This is actually from that collection. It's the serendipitous enzyme and a happy happenstance. Superoxide dysmostis. Anyway, so I got this, and it's just one of those things. It's like I just started reading it, and it's very interesting. But anyway, this is part of the lateral thing, but this is talking about aging and the cells and different things like that. So this is stuff that I kind of geek out about, and they actually have a trove of that. But every time I'm over there, great guys, great stuff. They gave me a copy of that. They had a whole bunch of that stuff. But it's amazing that this is finally getting back out, and they're trying to make an archive of it and make a digital print of things so people can access it easier. But it just doesn't seem like people are like really catching on. Like, hey, it's such a different way to live life. You don't have to go down the area where they're killing all your fast-growing cells. That's why your fingernails fall out, and that's why your hair falls out, because that's where your fast-growing cells are the most obvious. So anyway. All right, don't you know you had a tattoo? Oh, yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, I have one. I have two. Anyway, one on this side here, and then one on my back scallop. So, anyway, so, and I really don't think that. I mean, anyway, I'm not gonna get into a tattoo story. All right, we're gonna get out of here. It's Friday. Guys, thank you so much for being here. It's been a great show. I don't know what's going on. My voice has been off a little the last couple of days. We had a couple dry days here. Now it's going to be real moist coming up for a few days. So the mold and stuff is going to be kicking up. So I'm going to go take some more castor oil and put it back in the back of my nose and get that back in there. Ooh, yeah. I'm a little tight. Yeah, little stuffy there. So something's going on in the air out there, guys. Watch what's going on. Right now in Wichita, Kansas, I have irises and all the little tulip, whatever bulby things, and all the different things. My maple tree in the backyard is pushing out leaves like it's May. I don't know. Anyway, so we were supposed to have a frost night coming up here, like it was supposed to be like tomorrow night on Saturday night. Not going to happen. But anyway, it's been really crazy. So, guys, there are areas that you're getting those warm areas coming in a little bit sooner than usual. Be mindful to keep the castor oil in the nose, also using your silver spray, keeping the black mold from settling into the cavities of the brain. And also, castor oil is antiparasitic as well as chlorine dioxide, the snoot that we were talking about the other day. Snoot. Oh, by the way, YouTube still has not responded to me in my appeal for why they took it down. But I just got to push the word appeal. I didn't get to write anything or disprove what it was they were saying that they were accurate about. Anyway, all right, guys, it's been great seeing you. So cool. Good things out there. Snoot. Yeah, snootspray.com. Get over there and use promo code PRICE. That way I get credit for it. And anyway, guys, thank you so much for everything you guys are doing out there. Anything else? If anybody's wanting to help out with the float trip in May 22nd that we're trying to put together, I had like 6 or 8 people that were really interested a week ago, and now everybody's like, hello. So, guys, if you want to be a part of it, if you think you can show up, be a part of those, get your money put in for each person you want to be on the float trip. Please get a hold of me so we can start really putting this whole thing together, because if we don't act now, we're going to lose the space, and then there is no float trip, or we have to figure out doing things in tents, and might as well just have a nice shower and a air condition to fall asleep in when you got a good sunburn. All right, anyway, guys, that's about it for me. I'm going to get out of here, guys. Remember, the 10% you do for your neighbor, community, city, county, state, the federal government, the more you do for them, the less they have to do for you. Learn how to be selfless and not so damn selfish. The world will be a far, far, far better place. Right, Ann Hillary? Right, Ann Hillary? Oh, by the way, she has no idea who Jeffy is. No idea. Anyway, hold the line, hold fast. Do not give up. Do not give in. We'll win. I promise. I promise I can't keep, guys. You've always been the answer out there. Remember that Constitution. Well, that limits the government, but never limits you. So know your Bill of Rights. All right, guys. Good to see you guys out there. Great comments out there. Thank you so much. All right, we'll talk soon. Anything you guys need from me, get a hold of me. If you want to be a part of the float trip, planning committee, whatever it is, get a hold of me on that too. We got to get this going right away. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'm Jim Price. This is the Jim Price Show Daily Update. You guys all be good to each other out there. And I'll see you guys on Monday.